You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network. Here we go, another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and on United States.fm network. Guys, you know very well where is my heart. I have no allegiance to none but to the truth. And I don't believe in parties. I believe that both parties, they're pretty much to divide us and conquer us. Yes, of course, sometimes we have differences. At least we used to. Not anymore. They're the same. That's why I burned my Republican card almost now, 6 months ago? Because I really believe that there is no difference. They're all working for the same special interest, and this is not for the American people. And more important, if we believe that we're supposed to be a republic, where we have pretty much unalienable rights, number one, and then also we're supposed to follow the Constitution, both parties have failed us. Today's show, my goal is to prove with facts, with evidence, with the hard work of a man and an organization of people that they're trying to do this. Just try to bring facts and make you think that we've been duped, not just with Bush, but we've been pretty much stolen and frauded by Obama. And there is no difference between an Obama and a Bush. And this is organization you will see. I mean, it's amazing. You know, I couldn't believe how much hard work they did to compile links and links to facts, documents, evidence, exposing the true records of Obama. At the end of the day, is exactly the same, if no worse, than one of former President Bush. So, and this is not just me saying it, that's why I wanted to bring this person, and I'm really thankful. Today I have with me Chris Ernesto from Florida. Chris, are you there?
I'm here, Luca.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate, first of all, what you've been doing, because this is some sort of, I call it activist work. In a way, activist, somebody that is not lazy, and you bust your butt to try to bring facts and truth to the rest of the people here in America to wake up. What is the organization you volunteer for?
The group is called St. Pete for Peace, and we started in 2003, and we've been active since.
Wow. As the name says, you know, you're in St. Pete, Florida, correct?
That's correct.
And peace means peace, not war, correct? We agree on that.
Easy.
Yeah, because now, you know, peace means war and war means peace. You know, it's like 1984. You know, so peace means really peace. That means a non-aggressive policy unless for self-defense. We agree on that, correct?
Completely.
Perfect. And we agree. And that's the bottom line, guys. You know, we may have differences of opinions in maybe socioeconomics or some other issues, but one thing we should agree. If we believe in the United States Constitution, if we believe in the principle of our founding fathers, never our founding fathers wanted to be in these foreign wars. George Washington's farewell address, it told us very clearly. And let's not forget a great military figure of this country was a former general. My brain is burning right now. My gosh, let's see if I forget it completely. Anyway, was the most famous general during World War I, who wrote also a book, War is a Racket. Chris, help me out. Maybe you know him.
Smedley Butler.
Yes, I knew you were going to say it right. My brain was freezing today. Anyway, General Butler, spell it out. Tell us a little bit about General Butler. Let's start from him, because it's so important, this figure, to understand what's going on with the profiteering on wars. Who was General Butler, Chris?
Yeah, you know, the point that he made about war being a racket, the fact that was made nearly 100 years ago couldn't be any more true than it is today. War is a racket. It doesn't benefit the people. It benefits a certain number of individuals and companies who can make a fortune of it from it, and who can also use the war to control people, whether that's a country abroad or the people at home. So Smedley Butler had it dead on, and I wish there were generals today who would speak the way that he did.
Exactly. And this is so important because, you know, this is not about politics. This is not about funny left or funny right. This is about the truth. We're really in a sane mind, okay, would, first of all, send innocent people to die and to kill other innocent people. Seriously. Just some mega corrupted politicians But the problem is that we've been brainwashed. The problem is that we've been told this is for our safety. The problem is that we've been told this is for our country. It is not. And I tell you guys, I am no left, no right. I'm here just for the facts. I was even born here. I came later, okay? I became an American, and my only goal is to defend the Republic, and my only goal is to stand for the truth. Now, this is so important because I want to go back to your website. First of all, let's give your website out because it's vital. stpeteforpeace.org, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Now, the focus today was, in my humble mission, is to bring facts and logic out there to prove, with facts, no emotions, that both, let's say, political puppets, because they are puppets, these people, they don't decide anything. They just follow an agenda that's been pretty much predetermined before. Bush and Obama. There is no difference between them. The only difference that probably Obama, I think, has been doing and is done more than Bush, because he could get away with that, because after all, is the Democratic ticket and is not white. Now, I'm not saying this because I enjoy it. I was criticizing Bush. I was one of the first former Republicans going after Bush with his Patriot Act, the Military Commission Act, and the fraud of 9/11, all these things. But now is the point that for the people that consider themselves liberals, and for me, guys, if you follow Obama, you are not liberals. You are brown shirts at this point. The real liberals are people like St. Pete for Peace, people who believe at least in stick with the principle of peace. You're now supporting a guy, a man, an individual who is a warmonger, who is droning the hell out of innocents, who passed under his watch the National Defense Authorization Act, something that is even Bush did. I mean, Bush did the Patriot Act, was terrible, but this is even worse. So here we have the expert. I have the person that put the work together. You go to stpeteforpeace.org and you will see it. It's an act of love. I consider this an act of love because it's so much work to put all this stuff together. So please, Chris, I give you the floor. Start to do your case. Whatever you want to say about, let's start to bring to our fellow Americans. Let's try to wake them up and tell them, guys, people who voted for Obama and they still support Obama, if you were criticizing Bush, you must be insane because there is no difference. What do you think about this statement?
Well, I think you're not only accurate, you're probably even understating it. At some of our rallies, we always have a chant, and we say, Bush, Obama, same old drama. But that's not even accurate because Obama is worse than Bush.
Oh, my God.
And you said it correctly that he can get away with these things because he speaks much better than Bush spoke. He has a telegenic appearance, and he says these things that he's for peace. But we knew even before he was elected the first time that he was not a man of peace because he said while he was in the Senate that not all wars are all bad. It's just dumb wars are bad. So he made it clear. As a U.S. Senator, he co-sponsored a bill that gave the United States support of Israel as Israel was bombing Lebanon in 2006. So we knew right up front this man has bombed he's dropped bombs in 7 countries. Wow. And George Bush dropped bombs in 4 countries. And people don't believe us, but we go down the list. Yemen, Somalia, Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and now he's dropping bombs in Syria. George Bush only dropped bombs in 4. 4 was too many. This man has taken it to another level. He's supporting neo-Nazis in Ukraine. George Bush would not have been able to get away with that.
Exactly.
We know that people who call themselves liberals would have been jumping on the fence. When we got started in 2003, we came to Washington, D.C. for a pre-Iraq protest, and there were hundreds of thousands of people. I'm a statistician. That's my profession. And for about 2.5 hours, I sat on Constitution Avenue doing head counts, and I eventually had to stop because I was missing out on the fun. But I stopped at 225,000. Wow. On the drive back to Florida, we stopped to get dinner, and we were watching ABC News, and they said there were 10,000 people protesting in Washington today. And at that moment, the 24 of us who came up from Florida to go to D.C. knew that we had to do something on a regular basis to bring the facts to the table. So we made a decision to start protesting twice a week and to start a website that would simply be based on facts and no opinion, that we would be nonpartisan, and we would always stand against war. And that's what we've been doing since. People have been surprised that we've been protesting for the past 6 years with Obama, but we told them all along, we don't believe in the party system. It's rigged. What we do believe in is peace and justice and equality, and we're not getting it from the Obama administration.
Exactly. And this is, guys, sometimes I get kind of exasperated, but I'm trying to reach out now, especially people that they think that we are different, that they are considered, I'm some sort of a libertarian guy. I believe in freedom and respecting each other, okay? But regardless, I don't consider myself as a party. I just consider that I have rights and I don't infringe on other people's rights. That's it. But I also believe that I suppose not to be using our tax dollar to create crises around the world and then fix crises around the world and then kill innocent people, and then at the end of the day we go broke because every round that we shoot today or every bomb that we drop, let's just do it for start, we are broke. We are going to China to ask for begging for money and go ourselves in debt and put our next generation in debt because we cannot even afford anymore to pay our own bills in our own country. So first of all, anybody who supports today any type of unconstitutional war, let's not forget, I think war is bad no matter what and where. The only war I support is for self-defense. But if you really want to go to war, the last war we fought legally, according to our constitution, was World War II. Everything after that, confirm me if I'm wrong, I know I'm right on this one, starting from the Korean War, it wasn't a war. It was just pretty much a police action or international police action under the United Nations umbrella. So, all the people on the right, they believe that the constitution is our law of the land, let's start to wake up. Every conflict, because it's called conflict, that we fought after World War II was unconstitutional. Okay? Do you agree with this statement with me on this one? Everything after World War II was everything pretty much a fraud. I mean, it wasn't even a constitutional war.
Yeah, none of the military conflicts we've had since then have been approved by Congress. And Obama has taken it even further. He didn't even bother going to Congress to ask them if they wanted to support a war in Libya.
Exactly.
He did that on his own. And he wanted to start a war in Syria 2 years ago, but he knew if he put it in front of Congress that there was a wide backlash from the Republican Party that would not have allowed it to go through, because the Republican Party at that time was wise enough to know that if we were going to go into a war in Syria, we would be fighting on the same side as Al-Qaeda, who was supposed to be our enemy. And like you said, we go around the world, we bomb people, we destroy them, then we have to build them back up, we have to rearm. It's just an endless cycle that doesn't help anybody, yet they claim we're the humanitarian leader of the world.
You know why I'm stressing this so much? This is probably one of the most important things. And I tell you, there are different aspects, at least for me, Chris, I'm sure for you too. First of all, it's a moral thing. The moment that we are silent, we are responsible. Okay, I can go back to sleep at night thinking that in my name, in our name, with our tax dollar, they are killing innocents of millions of innocent people, thousands, millions with the years, of course, without even, these people have done nothing, they're in their homes. I mean, how many innocent people died between the last 10 years, you think, between Afghanistan, Iraq, and maybe Syria? What do you think, how many people died, you think? People that were civilians?
According to the most conservative estimates, there was an average of 3,000 people killed in Iraq every month for 6 years.
Oh, my God.
So that'd be like this, on September 11th, 3,000 people were killed here. Iraq had a September 11th every month for 6 straight years because of the U.S. military. When you then add in Afghanistan and Libya and Pakistan, the number comes very close to 900,000 people conservatively.
I mean,
Luke,
I'm freaking out.
I'm with you, Luca. I have a hard time with that personally. It's very difficult for me to sleep because those people are being killed with my tax dollars and in my name.
This is not a video game, guys. I know a lot of people that I know, that you call yourself Christian, okay? Come on, guys. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not a preacher. I'm a sinner, and I'm just trying to learn. I believe in Christ. But Christ never said go out and start to bomb everybody out there. I mean, how can you go to sleep at night thinking that it's okay to kill thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, that they are just regular people minding their business? This is sad. I'm crying sometimes about this. Now, number one thing, that's why I say we need to bring this opportunity to think, because the moment that we are silent and we comply, we are morally responsible. Today you may just say whatever. I really believe in an afterlife you're going to be judged. Because you were an accessory to murder, to mass murder. That's my opinion. And people who are now supporting Obama, you are not better than the people who were supporting Bush for these unconstitutional wars. Simple as that. Honestly, you are worst. Because at least these people, they were coherent. You are completely now hypocritical. That's my point. Number one. Number two, we are broke. Okay? We are broke. This country is going to hell. We have no more roads. We have people without homes. We have, 100 million people on benefits. I mean, it's getting to a disaster. Any logic mind, any person who has common sense, even if it was a warmonger, would say, wait a second, we cannot afford anymore to be spread out in 128 countries or whatever. We need to stop. We need to regroup. This is insane. And this is happening from both parties. I see many Republicans, of course, most of them, and many Democrats are still going for Syria and Yemen and all these little things like it's a video game. What do you think about that? Are we broke or not? Chris?
Oh, no, we are so completely broke. You know, one of the reasons the United States has to maintain its military edge is without that, we're not exceptional at anything. The only reason we still have control of the IMF and the World Bank and the United Nations and all the other puppet world organizations is because militarily these places know that bottom line, if the United States needs to use force, it will. And so the benefits that we have from that is that when we go broke, we have the IMF bailing us out, and we have the World Bank that doesn't make our currency completely crash like it normally would. In Zimbabwe, their currency went to hell because they overspent, and the IMF and World Bank didn't bail them out. So,
exactly.
Yeah, we're broke not only financially, but morally. I'm with you, Luca. People who call themselves Christians better read that New Testament.
Exactly.
Because Jesus was a man of peace, and he would never bomb anybody under any circumstance. Now, I'm not a pacifist. If somebody hits me, I'm going to hit back. But I would never go hit anybody first. Jesus wouldn't even hit him back. So all these people, whether it was George Bush or Barack Obama, who claim they're Christians, they're just as much fake Christians as the people who claim that they believe in Islam and then go and bomb people. Neither Christianity nor Islam believes in using violence as a conflict mechanism tool. So these people are hypocrites. And even further with what you said about liberals, I am so with you. I view them in much less, those liberals who support Barack Obama today, at least the Bush people, they said, we want war, we want spying, we want torture. At least they're honest.
Exactly.
The Obama people, they were out there on the streets decrying what Bush was doing, and now that their guy's doing it, they're silent. And those people used the anti-war movement just to push their political agenda, just so their guy could get in power. And I look at those people with a much higher level of disdain.
I agree. And, and people remember when they were freaking out, and I was freaking out about the Patriot Act 1 and 2. My gosh. I mean, the Military Commission Act, all the beginning of all this preparation of Homeland Security. I mean, like the Nazi, okay? Homeland. Got you the idea? And everybody said, oh, but after all, we know it's not for us. It's for the people with the turbans. Nothing to worry about it. I remember I went to our local sheriff here. Don't worry about the Patriot Act. Even he says what he says, it's not going to happen to you. Really? Who says so? And now, of course, we are the domestic terrorist. If you believe in peace, if you criticize the government, if you are a libertarian, if you are a constitutionalist, if you are a Christian, if you are a gun owner, there is a long list. That is for everybody. We are all potential domestic terrorists. But now, Obama went 2 miles deeper in hell with the new Patriot Act. It's called the National Defense Authorization Act. And it's even worse. I've been talking about this since pretty much it happened since I started the show. But please, my listeners, they are tired to listen from me. Give me the simple version that everybody can understand out there. What is the National Defense Authorization Act? The Congress voted for it on demand also of Obama. They really wanted it so bad.
Yeah, that's right. We thought the Patriot Act was bad, and after Obama signed the Patriot Act extension, we thought that was bad enough. But what he has done with the NDAA in terms of making domestic spying, he wants warrantless searches on cell phones. His NSA spying program has taken us to what the Stasi had in East Germany. We have a war on whistleblowers. Obama has prosecuted more whistleblowers than every other president combined.
Wow.
He has prosecuted more people for leaking than every other president combined. Obama, as a part of the NDA, put in a thing that was called the Insider Threat Program, which ordered all federal employees to report suspicious behaviors of other employees. He was telling every federal employee that it was their duty to spy on their coworkers, and if they didn't, and something came out about their coworker, that the person who didn't do the reporting could be brought up on charges.
Wow.
This is what the constitutional lawyer has done.
This is, guys, sometimes I feel like I'm living in a bad movie, Chris. Seriously, I start to believe, this is supposed to be so black and white, okay? I mean, you think now, finally, you have people that 6 years ago, they were complaining against Bush, and I was with them, Even I was technically a registered Republican. I was the worst Republican on the book. I was always after these bastards because it was my duty as a human being and as American to expose evil, okay? But now I see all these Democrats, they completely look like worse than the neocons. Seriously. I mean, at least, as you said, the neocons, they were honest. Yes, I want spy. I want more TSA. I want more Homeland Security. I want more illegal wars. Give me that. No, this is like body snatchers took into these people. I don't understand how you guys, Democrats who still support Obama, can you go to sleep at night? Seriously, I have serious problems. Now, I'm not trying to call your names. I beg you, as an American, to wake up. It's already late. I mean, this guy is already done damages. We're almost at the end. But it's never too late to at least recognize that we were wrong and you were wrong, and to try to morally stop this. Let them know that we are not anymore, you are not anymore, I never was, under his spell. Now, talking about other horrendous things that Obama did along with Bush, okay? I mean, first of all, we want to know that the TSA, it's a scam. You agree with me on that one? I mean, what do you think about the TSA situation here?
Oh, it's an abomination. I got detained at the airport about 3 months ago, and it was humiliating. I nearly missed a flight, and they made me step in a puddle of chemicals, and they brought over the bomb squad, and they surrounded me, and I was wearing a T-shirt that day that said Arab Revolution 2011, and it was from the Yemen Peace Project, and I didn't realize I was wearing it, and one of the TSA guy said, "Well, what does your T-shirt mean?" I looked down. I said, "Oh gosh, I'm in trouble, aren't I?"
No,
and and luckily I didn't. I have another T-shirt that says, "When Obama does it, is it okay?" And it has a picture of Obama on a bomb. I'm like, well, at least I didn't wear that T-shirt. But unfortunately, Barack Obama has defended the body scans at airports. He has pushed for that, and for anybody who's a Democrat who hears him say that, it's the same people who are Democrats who are environmentalists, but Barack Obama has done a TV commercial for clean coal. He is pushed for nuclear power, even after the Fukushima disaster in Japan, and Obama opened up deep water drilling even after the BP oil spill, and then he topped it off by signing the Monsanto Protection Act into law. So anybody who's an environmentalist and a liberal has to be appalled by him, but they don't because they're afraid that he's just the lesser of two evils. The same guy, he's deported a record number of immigrants, yet these people still vote for him because they're afraid of what a Republican would do. These people do need to wake up, Luca.
Okay, listen, and it's funny because, as I said before at the beginning, we have made things we agree, and maybe some things we disagree, and that's fine. The bottom line here is we need to talk first of all the most vital thing. We've been used, we've been abused, and they using this illusion of funny left, funny right. I don't need to agree on everything with Chris, and you don't need to agree on everything with me, because I was an immigrant myself, Chris, and I was born in Rome, and I came here with, through the embassy and all this stuff, and I got my visa. So I have maybe a different vision about what means to be deported if you cross the border illegally. But that's the beautiful thing about this issue. We need to focus the most important thing first. They are using this country, our name, to destroy our morals and to kill millions of people. And we need to put aside for a moment even things that we may disagree, maybe socioeconomic or maybe immigration. That's fine. We don't need to agree on everything. But this one, that's why I'm trying to reach out to the fellow Democrats, or what they call themselves, the liberals. We need to understand that we've been stolen the truth. I mean, you guys, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Obama is worse than Bush. That's the bottom line. And talking about Monsanto, something is so close to me. I love food. I love to eat healthy, and I believe we are what we eat. And everybody out there now starts to understand what means GMO. And now we have a man in the White House that pretty much, what did he do exactly? Repeat it to our friends, Democrats. What did he do, Obama, with Monsanto? What did he sign?
It was called the Monsanto Protection Act, and what it did is it shielded Monsanto from any type of lawsuit that could come against them because of their pushing of the GMOs and how they're taking over local farms. His act shields them from any prosecution.
I mean, right there. I mean, Bush did the same thing with the vaccine corporations. Now everybody must get their vaccine, of course, and Bush gave him immunity. So you can even sue him technically. Of course, you can sue him, but it's harder. And Obama instead did the same with the Monsanto. How is that defendable? How can you be so drugged and I don't know what type of medication they give you to still support this act of evil? Seriously, guys. And I'm not trying to be mean here. So all I'm saying, Chris, you've done an excellent job. Seriously. This is, and the site is always updated. stampede4peace.org. Links directly to facts, laws, executive orders. I mean, everything is there. And all I wanted to do, please, I don't care what you believe, but if you believe in factual truth, you need to start to do your homework. Go to the website, share it with your friends, with your family. And if you made a mistake, or if you were under the spell of this magic spell that you still believe Obama is the fairy tale or whatever you think it is, guess what? It's time to wake up. We can be forgiven. I believe, there is always an opportunity to get forgiven and admitting that we were guilty. We were wrong. Okay? So I want to give you the floor because, sometimes I talk too much, Chris. Whatever you want to say about this topic. My goal is only to wake up our fellow Americans. I don't care which party. We need to be waking up. We are really in danger here. Are you familiar with also Jade Elm 15, this scenario of martial law coming pretty soon, any days in America?
Yeah, the fact that we have a severe problem right now with the relations between the everyday person and the police. And it's not just African Americans that feel the brutality of the police. It's people who don't have a lot of money. It's people who speak up against the system. I think what Obama, the worst thing that he has done is he's perpetuated this myth that America is exceptional, that we are the leaders of the world, that it's up to us to do everything. I believe in peace and justice and freedom and equality for everybody, regardless of where they were born. It doesn't matter to me. Because if it really came down to it, I'd be thrown off of this land, and the indigenous Native Americans would tell me, get out of here. And I don't think that they have that right. I wasn't the one who did it. But what Obama has done is he's perpetuated this myth. As a matter of fact, we killed a couple people in Pakistan with a drone strike, and the people were hostages. This was revealed a couple days ago.
Yeah.
For some reason, this happened in January, but we're not being told about it until today. So Obama gets on TV and he gives a speech, and he sounds really apologetic, and he's really somber. But even while doing that, he still has the nerve to squeak in there, and he says, even though we're really sorry, we're still exceptional as Americans. And I praise the outstanding U.S. intelligence community. Well, how is he praising the intelligence community? They just bombed a place with an American hostage, an Italian hostage.
Okay.
So the man is afraid to speak up against the establishment. He's afraid to say things that are the truth. And part of the reason is because people on the right have claimed that he's not an American citizen, that he's a Muslim, that he was born in Kenya. They need to wake up to see what this man is doing. This man has perpetuated the myth that the United States is king of the world, and it does nobody any good. And that's one of the reasons, this man has given blanket support to Israel. Yet for 3 months, all we read in the newspaper is how there's a spat between Obama and Benjamin Netanyahu. That's a big sham. The whole time that was going on, Israel was bombing the hell out of Gaza, and Obama gave him the thumbs up. The United States continues to sell weapons to Israel. The United States has always vetoed any UN sanction against Israel. The United States also stopped the state of Palestine from becoming an official state with its vote in the United Nations, yet the people continue to say, oh, Obama's not supporting Israel. That's just a big hoax. So people on both sides of the equation would be well suited to, instead of looking at it as Republican or Democrat or left or right, just look at it as it's the people and it's the people in power. Because the people in power, whether it's John Boehner or Joseph Biden, it's virtually all the same. There's very little differentiation. And the other argument that I constantly hear is, and I hear this from some pretty progressive people on the left side. They say, well, I don't like either party, but when I get into the ballot box, I'm going to have to vote for the Democrat because they may be able to nominate a Supreme Court justice, and that might make the difference between the right to have an abortion and on guns rights. And that is one of the biggest hoaxes that has been perpetuated on the people. First of all, if we had a democracy in this country, the Supreme Court would have to be voted in, and they could be voted out. But they cannot be voted out, and they are not voted in, and yet they are the ultimate lawmakers in this country. That's the first thing. The second thing is they are never going to try to take away the guns from the American people, because that is the one thing that would get millions of people on the street and could potentially start a revolution. And they will never try to overturn Roe v. Wade. It will never happen, because there would be millions of women who refuse to go to work and who refuse to vote Democrat, who would refuse. It would never happen. Those two issues are the biggest they're smoke screens to get people to ultimately choose one side or the other. And both sides of the equation need to realize those are just little red herrings to keep them distracted from really what's going on.
Perfect. And Chris is great. I love this part of the show because, I really believe you are a true liberal, okay? And, we may have a lot of things that we agree. Of course, we have things that we have different opinion, but that's great because that's my point, guys. I'm here. We have a 911 crisis here. We're all in danger. We all pretty much could be disappearing. We all could be put in, not even in jail, in the dungeon, okay? Guantanamo is still open, by the way, but that's not even going to be the best place. That's only for the good people, because at least you got a good view on the ocean. You're going to probably be stuck in some third world dungeon under the CIA under National Defense Authorization Act. So with the point, we need to unite as Americans, even people we have differences of opinion on some other topics, and expose the fraud of both parties. Because, as you read my little bit about me, maybe we have little things that we have maybe a little different. I am a pro-gun Second Amendment guy. I do not believe in abortion, but doesn't matter. Right now we must stick together, because what they're doing to us, these puppets, they are puppets. They are nothing. They're just following the orders of the central bankers, okay? They are creating crisis after crisis, and they are destroying our basic human rights. The Bill of Rights is gone to the toilet. There is nothing left. So we must unite. I want to look for real liberals out there that wants to pretty much join with people like, maybe I consider myself more of a libertarian. Some other people, they may consider themselves conservative. Doesn't matter. We stick now for the basic. The basic, we have human, unalienable rights. And number one. Number two, we're not going to kill anybody unless for self-defense. Because first of all, we have not the money, but more important, before that, it's the moral thing to do. Okay? It's immoral to go out there and kill millions of people. One of the things made me cry, really, about the Al-Awlaki, the 16-year-old son. It was an American kid, and his father, that, by the way, used to work for the Pentagon. Remind to this little bit a short story of those two American citizens killed by Obama with a drone without trial. Please.
Yeah, so Obama started his secret kill list, and he would have what was referred to as Terror Tuesdays, where every Tuesday he would get together in the White House with the big brass and decide who they were going to kill via drone strikes.
Wow.
And at one point they decided that they were going to go after Anwar al-Awlaki, a man who was born in Denver, Colorado, who at one point was working with, like you said, he was working with the U.S. intelligence agency, and he saw what was going on in the Middle East and decided to speak up against it. He was very good at using the internet to spread his message, and he got a following. The United States couldn't have it. At the same time, he had roots in Yemen. He had some family in Yemen, so he went there, and the United States started a drone war in December of 2009 in Yemen, and the start of Obama's drone war in Yemen targeted a village called Al-Majala, where they ended up slaughtering 39 innocent people and a farm with livelihood, and they said that they were targeting Al-Qaeda of the Arabian Peninsula. And all it did was kill innocent people and create more enemies. Shortly thereafter that, they targeted Anwar al-Awlaki, and they killed him. And very shortly after that, they killed his 16-year-old son and one of his friends who were walking in the deserts of Yemen. And we are still told how precise these drones are. It's an abomination that drones are used in any form of war. I have a lot more respect for suicide bombers, because suicide bombers at least have the decency to kill themselves as they're killing other people. I don't agree with it. I believe suicide bombing is counterproductive and morally wrong. But a person who operates a drone from the desert of Nevada and is using a joystick to target people in Afghanistan has no courage whatsoever. If you're going to be a warrior, you at least need to put yourself at risk and not kill somebody and then go out to Taco Bell for lunch thereafter.
You know what? I must agree with you. It's a fact. It's a fact, guys. Think about now, everybody that says, oh, but after all, they must be terrorists. Must be? Do you believe still in due process? Those two people, they were human beings and they were Americans on top. And they did deserve a trial, like every one of us deserve a due process and a trial. Otherwise, tomorrow, you know what, maybe you could happen to you. What if maybe by accident, let's just by accident, the government, after all, is pretty much incompetent on many issues. They put the wrong name in the wrong computer database, or somebody who sounds like you, same last name. Boom, you wake up in the morning and you see just a little bit of a smoke there. Guys, this is scary. Not even Hitler did this stuff, because he didn't have the technology to do this stuff. You understand that? So now the fact is, we broke the pretty much the wall of things that nobody really complained that much, because after all, he was just a guy with a turban and with a long beard, but he was an American, and so his son, and they were innocent because he's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. For all the constitutionalists out there and the conservative who believes in the Constitution, this is supposed to be pretty much basic 101. Basic 101. Because next time, now we are so brainwashed, we think, oh, this is happening in Yemen. After all, the guy is sounding like a strange last name, hard to remember. Next time could be maybe to Anderson, or to whatever last name could be, American name. So, guys, it's really serious, this one. That's why I'm reaching out. I'm glad you came on the show, Chris. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to show the rest of the listeners, this is not anymore about left or right. It's not anymore about funny left and funny right. It's about right or wrong. Freedom or tyranny. Let's start with that. We need to take this country back, and then we can, first of all, I believe, maybe different things about social economy, but I tell you something, if I had to start to be a socialist or share the tax dollar, let's start to give it to our people. When we stop all these wars, we would have enough money to take care of every American. Do you agree with me on that or not? How much we get robbed every year with all this military-industrial complex for all these conflicts out there? How many trillions, Chris?
Yeah, their official number is $675 billion, but that doesn't include special operations, and that doesn't include the CIA. So if you look at it just as a percentage of our tax dollars, 25 cents out of every dollar. So 25%. Wow. Of your tax dollars goes towards the military. And if we instead of, even if we just cut it in half just for domestic defense, if we, have the military inside the U.S. borders, and any country that's silly enough to try to cross the Atlantic or the Pacific to try to invade the United States, we'd be prepared. I have never once lost a minute of sleep worrying about whether someone's going to come invade us. And, was bin Laden really going to come in and shred the Constitution? It's beyond mythical that they get people actually believing that. So if we're spending about $1 trillion a year on the military, I would much rather have that money just not have a deficit, or provide free education for every single student as long as they want to go through college. Libya, under Muammar Gaddafi, He gave every Libyan free education all the way through college, and he didn't have to add taxes. He just wasn't spending $1 trillion a year. In Cuba, who's been embargoed for over 50 years, their people get free education, not because they add taxes, because they have their priorities right. I don't believe in additional taxes. I didn't believe in the Wall Street bailout. Unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party who voted for that bailout. The Republican Party voted against the bailout in 2008, the Wall Street bailout. It was the Democrats who voted for it. I don't believe in bailouts for the corporations. I don't believe in raising taxes ever. And it was pretty interesting. About a year ago, we had a discussion because as anti-war activists, we constantly come under the thumb of the police. We are harassed. We are arrested. It's rough. People who say that in the United States you have the First Amendment right have never gone out to a protest. So we were talking about that in the context of the Second Amendment. And a lot of people in the anti-war movement don't want to have guns in the United States. So we as an organization had many meetings and many discussions, and we decided to put out a statement that we support the Second Amendment.
Great.
Even though we wish that the world were gun-free, but now that we're in the reality, we have a Constitution, and that Constitution says the Second Amendment, you have the right to bear arms. And if we are going to loudly thump our chests and say we believe in the First Amendment, unless we're intellectually hypocritical, we also have to say that we believe in the Second. And we put out that statement, and we lost a number of people. We probably lost maybe 5 or 10% of our people who said, that's not the view I want. And we said, that's fine, then you're a hypocrite. I mean, we have to abide by the Constitution. And if we're going to stand up for our First Amendment rights, we have to support the Second Amendment as well.
And I consider you like a brother because, this is exactly the type of liberal I love, okay? People who are at least, first of all, coherent and not hypocritical. And then we have all the Bill of Rights. I am here to defend every one of that. And, of course, we cannot say pick and choose which you want. That's not the important thing. People, they're not forced. Let's say, I agree. For example, my mother, she would never use a gun. You don't want to give her a gun because it would be an extra gun for the bad guy, okay? I respect that. Every one of us has their moral and ethical decision to do if they're able to, even to defend the life, to take another life. It's a moral, personal thing. Not everybody has to do it. Not everybody is forcing you to do it. It's your choice. Now, the same way, you must respect other people's choices if they want to use force to defend life and to defend freedom. Another important thing also, I hope many liberals out there start to wake up. If all the things that are happening right now under Obama, they were happening under Bush, and we have now a National Defense Authorization Act and all these things of these terrible things, they understand, even the liberals understand, that we're all in danger. All the moment that you disagree or you just say something against the establishment, you are potentially on that list. And guess what? We're all going to be on that list pretty soon. So the point is, the guns, for me, they're not to just stop a regular criminal. I mean, a 2x4 would do the job, okay, most of the cases. The point here, the guns for me is to defend freedom and my dignity as a human being. Because the moment that we're going to face the same situation like we are facing right now, for me this is like Nazi Germany in 1934, okay? Doesn't matter which color, which elephant or donkey, they're doing the same plan. All they need now is a crisis. And they have all the executive orders out there in the book to pretty much declare martial law. Simple as that. Now, every liberal that has brain, I have a lot of friends that they are liberals, real liberals, understand that maybe they need to review a little bit the position on the Second Amendment. Maybe they start to understand it's something that, as a free country, we should have the right to defend our liberties. Because at that point, I'm sorry, if you come in the middle of the night to pick me up and put me in a truck and to disappear, I'm not going to comply. Okay, I don't care if you have how many badges you have on you. I deserve a trial, I deserve a due process, and if I know I've done nothing wrong, I'm not going to comply to go into your gulag. This is pretty much my statement. What do you think about this? Am I too extreme, maybe, Chris?
I say amen, brother.
Oh,
yeah, one of my first experiences, I got arrested for feeding homeless people, and it was kind of a hard thing to intellectually comprehend. I was helping some people out who were hungry, and I got handcuffed and thrown in the back of the squad car in Florida in August, and they didn't turn the air conditioning off for a few hours, and it was just, and I was with a friend of mine, and we're like, are we really arrested for feeding homeless people? And
oh my gosh.
They took us to the jail, and they threw us in jail. And it's, I have no question that at any drop of the dime that martial law would be declared here. And they are just preparing the people to accept it. And it takes people like you, Luca, to continue to speak up, because not only what we're doing as a nation right now is having a devastating effect on the people around the world, they are gutting the people of the United States as well. And it may take them longer to gut us than it does to gut Pakistan and Yemen, but they'll get to it, because eventually there won't be enough people around the world for them to oppress. They're going to have to continue to push down. The United States is exceptional in the fact that we have more people in prison than any other country in the world, and that's not only by the number, which is over 2 million, that's per capita. We have 5 times the incarceration rate as China, yet I'm constantly told that China is a communist regime that is authoritarian and totalitarian. Then how is it that we have an incarceration rate 5 times higher?
Exactly. And another thing I want to say, I'm all for, I consider myself like some sort of a capitalist, libertarian, free spirit, okay? But there is only one way that the government should stay sticking to his business. The jail never supposed to be private, because that's a profit. When I go in business, I do for profit, okay? That's the way I'm staying in business, okay? But when you have a corporation, put them in the business of jailing and keeping people in pretty much in captivity, what do you think they're doing? They want more customers. So now we have corporations in control of most of our jail system. It's called private jails. And I think you agree with me. What they're doing, these bastards, they are manipulating pretty much Congress and the state legislation to pass always more laws, because then now they demand more customers. And if they don't provide, the state does not provide enough customers, they can get sued. This is like complete slavery. And then they use these inmates for labor, for free. And the private companies need to compete with this new slavery. It's impossible, guys. I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm all for privatization, but no, the government is supposed to stick to a few things. And one thing for sure, the system of the jail system is supposed to be under the control directly of the government, not of some private corporation that pretty much is there just to make a buck. What do you think about this?
Oh, that's so true. And with the privatization of the jails, we've seen an increase in the number of people incarcerated. For one, they have to meet their quota. But for another, one recent study I saw that there was a case in Pennsylvania where the local authorities were arresting children at a disproportionate rate, and it cost them $88,000 a year to have one kid in jail. And if some jail system is making $88,000 a year per inmate to feed them horrible food and terrible living conditions, that profit margin is huge. So it just invites corruption. And the idea that we have a jail system that can make money, capitalism, you better be really careful, because it doesn't mean that there are no limits and it's dog eat dog. And I wouldn't trust the government to control the jail system any better, but making it for profit surely just leads to more potential corruption.
When I say also now, we've been also brainwashed to think the word capitalism is what we have now. This is cronyism. This is a corporativism. Benito Mussolini pretty much defined fascism when there is the union of the corporation and the government and the state. That's what we have today. Because when we have this huge corporation, I'm not talking about a mom and pop shop, okay? I'm not talking about small business. They're pretty much people that they put out their money, they put their work. If they fail, they fail. If they succeed, I'm happy for them. I'm talking about these big, huge corporations, too big to fail. They pretty much got our tax dollar every time there is something not going right, and they pretty much is now in symbiosis with the government. That's fascism. That's not free market, guys. Now, the jail system is one of the most important things we need to monitor, because now, as you said, even in China, we got so many people in jail. This is supposed to be the land of the free. We are now the land of the free, home of the slaves. And it breaks my heart to say that. It breaks my heart, but the facts are there, Listen, all I wanted to do today, and I'm really glad, I think we accomplished it, we show to the rest of Americans and more important to the people that they're still trapped into this phony left-right, the dichotomy, this sort of separation. We are people maybe with different background, but we believe in freedom. We believe in justice. We believe that what it's evil, it's evil. I don't care which party you are. And we stick together, and we want to take it back. And then when we will take back this country, hopefully, we can start to get creative and maybe start to find a way, even if we have differences maybe in socioeconomics, we can work out a way, because we got so much of our trillions of dollars that we've been stolen that we could take it back and use it better for our situation here in America. And another way I want to say, I'm tired and sick. Every time somebody tries to identify me in this phony left and right, the first thing they ask me, do you support Israel? First of all, I never heard that Israel was the 51st state of this country. I mean, I am here. I came all the way from Italy to become an American, not to become some sort. Israel, if we want to join the union, let them join. But right now, what we have, guys, I don't support any foreign country who's collecting our tax dollar without my consent. Because if people they consider themselves in the right, okay, they're conservative, and we don't believe in socialism. I'm with you. What is mine, I would like to give as a charity, not as coercion from the government. Fine. But now these phony right people, I call them phony rights, they're hypocritical, like the Obamanoids. Because if you believe that we're supposed not to share our wealth without our consent, what we're doing now, if you want to support Israel, is called open your checkbook and send them a check. Not forcing the rest of us to pay billions of dollars every year to Israel and to other probably 128 countries around the world. We are broke. Let them go to China and beg for money and go in debt. Go to the private Federal Reserve themselves. What do you think about this? This is sickening. I mean, why should we pay for other countries' bills?
No, we shouldn't. And what's funny is that in Latin America, they're starting their own banking system, and in Asia Pacific, behind Russia and I believe China and India, they're starting their own banking system. And eventually our fallback of going to the IMF to bail us out, it may not be there at some point. And I'm with you, Luca. People need to understand this, the sooner the better. And I'm not talking about stocking up your canned foods. Let's call this government out, because this country has a wealth of natural resources. We have such beautiful land, and we have forests and trees and water. By our geographic definition, we're protected on the east, we're protected on the west, we have friendly neighbors to the north and friendly neighbors to the south. We've got everything. We do not need to be afraid all the time. We need to enjoy things instead of living in fear. Let's try to live and enjoy each other, and let's be a part of the world community instead of trying to dominate it. We don't need We don't need to be the world superpower in order for the 310 million people here to have an abundant life. You know, it's tough because people around the world are rightfully starting to really, really hate America. Now, I hear them say, oh, it's the politicians, not the people. The truth is, it is the people. It's the people who they're complicit, they're willfully ignorant, and I am so sickened that in Nazi Germany, that those people, they did not try to, with very few exceptions, the White Rose Society, Sophie Scholl, a few others, they tried to stop Hitler. But the rest of the people in Nazi Germany were virtually silent or going along with it. And those people could have stopped potentially millions from getting killed. And the same is with the United States today. Our people, instead of going about their hurried lives thinking that everything they're doing is so important, need to realize we are reaping the benefits of this empire. Our lives, as rough as it is for many people, it would be even rougher if we didn't go around the world and steal resources and strong-arm governments to get trade agreements and to impose our will on everybody. I would much rather be a citizen of the world and be proud that where I am makes me feel happy.
Chris, I would like to say this, I would like to lead by example, not by force, We need to we want to get people in by us. Let's show that we are really freedom. Really, we are free. Really, that we have a system that, like our, the foundation of our inalienable rights. Not do this by force. Let's show them that we are really prosperous countries, that we can take care of ourselves because we really understand what means economics, and we don't go anymore around the world wasting our trillions of dollars. That's all I'm saying. Let's lead by example, not by force. This is my opinion. But regardless, I would like to leave you guys and leave Chris with this message. I think it's very important for people who believes in the Constitution. if you believe in George Washington, you should read his pretty much his statement, his farewell address. And the phrase that I really like is this one: peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations, entangling alliances with none. Thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate your work, and you are a true liberal, and I respect you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luca.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, but I have 3 more minutes, and I will surprise you with my little serenade to the Obamanoids. Stay tuned. Dedicated to all the Obamanoids. If you love Obama so much, hey, you want to show me that I'm wrong. I say it's a Nazi, you say no, no. Then come on the air and let's get all alone. I will show you facts and proofs. If you support Obama, you're a Nazi too. I'm very sorry to share bad news, but Obama is a racist. If you believe him, you're a fool. And the and more Patriot Act, NSA, and more Iraq, illegal wars, Syria, Libya, and Ukraine. You must be insane to believe Obama is a saint. Obama lover, come on the air. Don't be scared, you know I'll be fair. I'm very sorry to share more bad news. Obama loves Monsanto, but does not love you. He rules by edict like Hitler or like a king. If you're still follow him, you're just kissing his Muslim ring. Oh, please wake up, don't be a fool. Obama is a liar, to support Hitler is not cool. Hey, you're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Luca Zanna.